Well, in case you've been living under a rock the past month, Fusion Strike booster boxes have absolutely gone to the moon. $450 is their listed market price on TCG Player, with the last sale going for nearly 500 US dollars. If we look at the numbers, they're up in the last 3 months 107%. And if we look in the last 12 months, they're up 207%. I've had so many emails from so many different people basically saying, thanks for your advice on Fusion Strike 12 months ago. And hey, look, I didn't expect it to go as crazy as what it had, but I was expecting maybe a 50 or 100% increase in price based on stock levels and the fact it had been handed over to the secondary market, plus a lot of other reasons that I'll go in towards the end of this video. But the big question is, and the one that's on everyone's mind at the moment is, what are the next sets? What are the next sets to go absolutely crazy? What's the next set to do a Fusion Strike? What's the next set to do an Evolving Skies? Look, I don't think, Evolving Skies is a once-in-a-generation set, just like Team Up is a once-in-a-generation set. We're probably going to see roughly, one set per era do that. And if we look back to XY era, although there's some other booster boxes severely climbing in price at the moment, we've probably got Flashfire sitting there. If we look at Black and White era, we've got Dragons Exalted and Plasma Storm. But Sun and Moon, we've got Team Up. Sword and Shield, we've got Evolving Skies. Scarlet and Violet, the story is yet to be written there. But what is going to follow in Fusion Strike's footsteps? Don't expect it to do an Evolving Skies, but what is the next booster box to take off? And I've really got 3 on my mind. And look, if you haven't got into these yet, now's your last chance before they get super dear, is my opinion on them. Before we jump into what those 3 booster boxes are and why those booster boxes, including Fusion Strike, is really starting to absolutely explode in price, I just wanted to give a shout out to today's video sponsor, which is Poke Notify. It's a Discord channel. I'll leave a link in the description to the Discord. If you use the code PokeOz_25, you get 25% off. You can sign up. There's 3 days for free. If you don't like it, jump off. If you do like it, 25% off of my code. I think it's like $7 a month. It gives you, whether you're in the United States, Australia, UK, Europe, wherever, Canada, it gives you access to knowing exactly when stock drops at stores so you can purchase online, when there's deals that come up. We all know how hard it is to get stock at the moment. I've had a fair few people email me saying, thanks for telling me about that because I've recently picked up, some 151 that I didn't think I'd be able to get my hands on, etc., etc. So links will be in the description to that. On to today's video, and geez, people bag me out when I use this word, but crux of it, 3 booster boxes that I feel are about to take off, and in fact, they already have been. And the first one's a bit of a no-brainer for me, and that is Brilliant Stars. Brilliant Stars took quite some time to go out of stock on the Pokemon Center websites, both in Europe and in America. And look, it's been out of stock for a little while on the Pokemon Center, and as a result, we're going to start to see prices severely climb on this set. Now, this set's a pretty solid set. To give you a little bit of a rundown on it, it's currently at $240 US a booster box. It's seen a 30% increase in the last 3 months, which in itself is a pretty damn impressive gain. But when we compare it to something like Fusion Strike, which is 107% in the last 3 months, it doesn't really compare, does it? So we're looking for that next set to do something crazy over the next 3 months. And for my mind, these 3 booster boxes, Brilliant Stars included, will be one that jumps up. Now, there's a lot of positives to Brilliant Stars. I guess when Brilliant Stars come out, it was, in case you weren't in the hobby then, it was majorly hyped. It was massive. We had this real golden run of Pokemon card sets. Of course, we had Evolving Skies, we had Fusion Strike, we had the 25th anniversary, we had Brilliant Stars. We had this real golden run of Pokemon card sets, and each one seemed to be more hyped than the others, but a few sort of let people down a little bit. The 25th anniversary set, Celebrations, let people down a little bit. And I think, Brilliant Stars sort of let people down a little bit. And I don't exactly know why, because there's plenty of positives to it. One, you've got, 3 Charizards to chase in there, one being an alternate art. And also, not only is it an alternate art, it's an artwork that people have been crying out for, in that so many people over the comment section of my videos, in other places I've seen, have been crying out for a Pokemon to be battling someone else. This is Charizard battling Venusaur in an alternate art Pokemon card. What can get much better than that? That is one belter of a card. Now, look, maybe the prices, the pull rates, the overprinting at the time didn't really live up to people's expectations. I don't know the exact reason, but like I was saying, positives. Old Heart Charizard, 2 other Charizards to chase, including a Rainbow Charizard. You've got the reintroduction, the last and the only trainer gallery we had during Sun and Moon was Cosmic Eclipse. We got the reintroduction of a trainer gallery. Yes, there's some very easy pull rates for some of them, but no more easy than some of the illustration. Like I think it was 1 in 13 packs, you're getting one of the lower valued trainer galleries, like, the Jolteon, the Vaporeon, the Flareon from Brilliant Stars. And then you've got harder to chase trainer galleries. You've got Umbreon and Sylveon and Mimikyu. And hey, look, this set has a lot going for it. It's just one over the next 3 to 6 months. I think, it's $240. It's not going to get any cheaper than that. This is going to be one that's going to, start seeing a massive uptick in price. And the second one is, and this is probably also a no-brainer, and same thing, has started to take off, and probably you're a little bit late to the party if you've missed it, is Lost Origin. Current TCG market price is $345. It is up 50% in the last 3 months, which again in itself is crazy. And hey, I was having a bit of a conversation about Lost Origin with a mate last night in comparison to Fusion Strike. And why has Fusion Strike taken off all of a sudden compared to Lost Origin? Because isn't Lost Origin the better set? You've got the Pikachu trainer gallery inside there. You've got, Shinji Kanda's wonderful piece of artwork in the Giratina V. Isn't this just a better set than Fusion Strike? The pull rates are better. Like if you open a booster box, you're guaranteed basically 13 hits or thereabouts, whereas you could open Fusion Strike and get next to nothing. So isn't Lost Origin the better? And I was like, well, I think there's a couple of reasons Fusion Strike took off before Lost Origin did. One, it's a touch older. Two, as a collectible and a sealed booster box, which a lot of people are turning to, it looks nicer. Like it's actually got some color to it. It's got pink to it. It's got Mew on the front cover, and Mew's arguably more popular than Giratina, I guess. It's a Ghost Psychic based set, and they always typically perform really well. And then the other thing is, if you look at the top 4 hits inside each set, you go, okay, Giratina against Gengar. Price-wise, we're pretty much bang on. Artwork, personally, I prefer the Giratina a bit more than what I prefer the Gengar, but the Gengar is something new and different and cool. The Gengar VMAX sucking in the whole streetscape or landscape that's there. But price-wise, they're bang on. And then you drop down and you go, well, what are we up to now? We're Aerodactyl versus Espeon, and that's a no-brainer. If we call it a draw in top hits between Giratina and Gengar, Espeon absolutely blows the Aerodactyl out of the water. Personally, I love both cards. They're stunning artwork, but the numbers don't lie. Espeon clearly beats it. And then we drop down to what's the next top hit in Lost Origin. I think we're the Pikachu trainer gallery, aren't we? In comparison to a Mew VMAX, which is over $100 raw price at the moment. And again, the Mew absolutely blows it out of the water. And then I think the next top hit is a Mew V versus the next Pikachu trainer gallery card in Lost Origin. So if you look at the top 4 or 5 hits in Fusion Strike versus Lost Origin, you realize that Fusion Strike's top 4 or top 5 price actually blows Lost Origin out of the water by a fair bit. So maybe that's another reason for it. But Lost Origin is still... it still feels undervalued. I know it's made massive gains. You might be a little bit late to the party. We've probably been saying it for a while. I know I've been saying it 12 months ago when they were cheaper. Buy Lost Origin, buy Fusion Strike, buy any trainer gallery, alt art, sword and shield set. I probably sounded like a broken record to everyone, but these are the next that I think are going to jump up in price. And the final and third one that I wanted to mention before we go into the why these sets are really starting to take off is Chilling Reign. This is one of those sets that everyone said for so long in the Pokemon investing space, arguably for like the last 2 years, that this will be the set that goes crazy. And I think the only reason that Fusion Strike, again, has eclipsed Chilling Reign in price is for all those reasons that I said before. Mew, Gengar, Ghost Psychic set, colourful booster box, nicer looking collectible. And then you look at Chilling Reign's booster box and you've got an Ice Rider Calyrex sitting on the front cover, and a lot of people don't really, I suppose, assimilate with that Pokemon as such. Yes, it's nice and colourful, it's blue. Why don't we do that in the Scarlet and Violet era? Let's get some colourful booster boxes back, eh? Surging Sparks is probably the nicest looking one we've got yet, but what's with the white background? Get the blue and the pink, get those colours back in there. But Chilling Reign, like, look at the top. So many people have been saying for so long, there's so much depth in this Pokemon card set, which there is. And it's like, why hasn't it gone yet? Why hasn't it completely popped off? Why isn't it a $600 booster box? Total value, it has, out of all Sword and Shield sets, it has the second highest total value, sitting only behind Evolving Skies. Yes, Evolving Skies completely eclipses it, but when you look at Chilling Reign, you've got Blaziken VMAX, you've got the 3 Galarian Birds, you've got the Ice Rider, you've got that many. There's more alt arts in Chilling Reign than what there are in any other Pokemon card set from the whole Sword and Shield era. Why hasn't this one popped off yet? It still is up 34% over the last 3 months, but it just begs the question, why hasn't it taken off yet? So maybe it feels like playing the pokies, and you know when you've pressed it 100 times, you got no feature, and you're like, my machine's about to go off. It's due. It's very due. And maybe you're just making stuff up, but surely Chilling Reign is due. Surely Chilling Reign is due to go from a $300 booster box to a $500 booster box in the next 12 months. Surely. It's too good a Pokemon card set not to. There's too many nice alt arts in there. It's getting rarer. It's getting harder to find. It's getting in the hands of collectors. And on that point of getting into the hands of the collectors, now that we mentioned the 3 booster boxes that I think are about to absolutely go to the moon, the big question is why? Why does this happen? And I think we need to take a little trip down memory lane. So I'm going to bring up the Shiny app here, which I also promote. They're not the sponsor of today's video, but I like to use the graphics off there. We'll get back on board with Shiny in a minute, but I like to run through the graphics here. And if we go down memory lane a little bit and we go back to XY era and we look at what the best valued or highest valued booster boxes are from an era, we get this real common theme. And the real common theme is a few things: total set value, top 5 hits, top 10 hits, whatever it might be, but multiple chase cards with $100 price tags is also something that comes to mind. So we look like a set like Flashfire, and you've got, of course, like 4 Charizards there to chase, which are all worth pretty strong money. Another set that's absolutely popped off from XY at the moment is Ancient Origins. You've got that Mega Ray Quasar, the gold one, which is worth like nearly $300 raw now. I think we've got Primal Kyogre and Groudon in there. Moving along to Sun and Moon era, sets that have absolutely taken off in there, of course, Team Up. But then we look at, a set like Burning Shadows, which I thought would absolutely take off, but there's really only one chase card inside that, which is the Charizard. But then Team Up, of course, you've got the Latios and Latios. You've got the Gengar and Mimikyu. There's the Magikarp and Whaler. Like the hits just keep coming. Those north of $100 hits, the big heavy chase cards, the thrill of the chase, the lottery. That's why we spend $10 on a ticket to possibly win 10 million. People won't spend $10 on a ticket to possibly win 20. It doesn't make much sense. It's a thrill of the big chase. That's one of the reasons why. And if we fast forward, of course, to Sword and Shield era, we need to think about exactly what sets have multiple chase cards over $100. And this is one of the reasons I think Fusion Strike has really popped off, because if you look at it, we've got the Gengar, we've got the Espeon, and we've got the Mew VMAX now. And clipping at its heels, you've still got some chase cards around that $50 mark in the Mew V and the Celebi, which I think a lot of us have said have been criminally underrated price-wise for quite some time. And I think that's the why. That coupled with the fact that once the booster box, and I did a whole video on this, moves off, in case you missed it, moves off the hands of shop fronts. So whether it's online stores or brick and mortar stores, and the whole inventory of what's left sealed of a booster box moves to the secondary market. So probably people like yourselves that are watching, people like me. I'm not saying we control the price, because there still needs to be someone that buys it. But the price that we sell it at, we have some influence on that. And as a result, the box is getting rare. It becomes a collectible in its own right. These things all coupled together is what starts putting upward pressure on booster box pricing. We've seen it in Fusion Strike, and in my opinion, we're about to see it in Lost Origin, Brilliant Stars, and Chilling Reign as well. I'm Michael. This is Poke Oz. Catch everyone next time.